Welcome back to Lights Over Loveland. Today I have a couple of video clips I'm going to be showing you. This first clip is actually cropped from the second clip in this video, and I slowed it down. But a bright orb appeared and flew overhead, and as it was flying over, it got extremely bright, as you can see in the slow motion. Now we're going to start with the first full clip. This was recorded March 15th, 2024 at 7:44 p.m. in northern Colorado. In this video, a bright orb appeared and I started recording it as it flew overhead. As I'm following it here in the sky, I want to make note I'm trying to keep the video as still as I can. I'm trying to keep stars in frame so you can compare its movement to where it's going. These are binoculars. My shoulders do get tired, fatigued after looking at videos for so long. So please bear with some of the shakes. I am trying to find a better system if I can, but this is the best that I have right now. So at this point in the video, I'm actually rotating. The orbs seem to have a habit of flying directly over my head. So I always end up starting, I lock onto it, I track it across the sky, and it flies directly over me to the point where I start bending over backwards, and it forces me to have to turn around. So in any of my videos, if you see a turn, that is most likely what happened. I do think it's interesting that they fly directly over me a lot of times. Um, but this video, it just flew across the sky. You can see right now, there's a tree that is approaching. It's still falling down to the horizon line. I'm tracking it until I think actually I lose this one behind the roof at the end of this clip. Yep, so right there it goes behind the roof. And then, as you can see, it is now 7:48 in this next clip. So a couple minutes later, these things happen very quickly. This is now the orb that I showed in the beginning of the video. Here in just a moment, it will get very bright. Notice how big it is right now, and notice the increase in brightness when it gets this big. So it went from about the size of a star to like 4 or 5 times the size, and then dims back down to the size it was. So I just thought that was kind of interesting in this clip. I wanted to make it stand out in the beginning. So now here in the rest of the video, it's just flying across the sky as I continue to track it. And as it's flying, I'm just going to take a couple more minutes to talk about our channel. So it's myself and my friend Daniel. We both see orbs in the sky. We both have the same binoculars, and we both are trying our best to capture clips. I guess I can start going into how I got started in this a little bit. So last year, with all the alien stuff going on, with just everything from the congressional hearings to everything, I ended up getting really deep into the topic. My friend Daniel actually was the first one that started talking about it, and I didn't take it that serious. Then he started researching into it more and was watching a bunch of TikToks about it. So then I started watching the TikToks about it, and it was crazy to me to learn that one, the government had admitted all these things were that there was something real going on. They didn't know what it was. So in August last year, I got home one day after work after being deep in conversation about UFOs all day. My friend Daniel also works at the same place I do, so we have a lot of time to like talk about this stuff. And I went outside as a joke, saying I'm gonna go look for UFOs, and then only to be humbled 10 minutes after being outside and come back and tell my wife, babe, I think I just saw a UFO. And then that started my obsession with having to learn all the information I could. Now, we are now into the third and last clip of this video. It's just another bright orb that appeared at 7:53, so just a few minutes later after the last one. I would like to point out, if you do watch my previous videos, notice the timestamps. A lot of these things that are recorded on the same day happen back to back to back. I've debated a lot on what these things could be. I've gone through every rational explanation I could in my head multiple times. And I have apps to track satellites that are flying through the sky. I've looked up the thing for planes flying across the sky. I don't think it's any of those things. It truly, to me, is a phenomena. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to gain understanding through collecting data. Um, I think if you haven't heard of Chris Bledsoe and his son Ryan Bledsoe, they have a podcast called Bledsoe Said So, and I would highly recommend checking them out. I learned a lot from listening to their podcast, and I think these are light beings from, you know, the eternal realm.